Yes. Fuck yes. Tales of Zestiria, right here. This first episode, done by Ufotable. Awesome job. Awesome job. I mean, it's Ufotable. You really can't expect them to do poorly when it comes to their series. Like, pretty much everything that they have come out with, like, I have completely fallen in love with. Like, Ufotable did an amazing job with this first episode of Tales of Zestiria, the Cross, or the X, as some would say. This was completely new to me, completely new to people who have played the Tales of Zestiria game. Now, I haven't finished Tales of Zestiria yet. However, I'm about like 15 hours in. However, the game, apparently when it comes to the story only, it's about only like 30 plus hours. However, if you're a completionist, it can take much longer than that, and the game is like up to like 120 hours. So, I have a bit of grinding to do when it comes to the lore of Tales of Zestiria, but it seems like I'm almost done. But anyway, we're talking about today's episode, today's adaptation of Tales of Zestiria, the X. This was a great adaptation. It was completely new to me as someone who has played the game, because as people who have played the game, we have never seen this from the game at all. This first episode was a prologue to the game, and it had completely different things that I wasn't even aware of. And the episode focused more on Alicia, and Alicia, like, she looking beautiful. She looking beautiful in this episode, you know? But my girl Alicia, though, we get to see the perspective of Alicia before the events that end up going about basically when you start up the game of Tales of Zestiria. So this tells us right here that this first episode was a prologue, and that it will be showing off the whole game, hopefully, of its entirety, because I'm pretty sure there is like 26 episodes scheduled for this series, and it's broken up into 2 cores, so that is amazing. If it was just 13 episodes, they wouldn't be able to do it. However, 26, you know what, I think they'll be able to do that. And from what I've heard, is that the main characters within Tales of Zestiria, Soray and Mikleo, they are not going to appear until like the 3rd episode of Tales of Zestiria. So we still have much more world building and setup to go about in this series. The animation just looks fantastic. I mean, it's Ufotable. I mean, pretty much everything about this first episode just looked amazing. I mean, we have this giant freaking tornado, just like, or sandstorm, just like coming across the freaking wasteland and laying waste upon Alicia's troops and just decimating everything within its path. Like, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Like, just the animation and everything. And then there was that scene where the dragon, like, pops out of the storm. Like, it was amazing. Also, what completely surprised me is when we saw Lunar within this episode, the fox-like guy. We actually get to see his, you know, his original form before he ends up changing into the fox guy, as everybody knows him about in the games. Because before, that's all we really knew about Lunar, is that he always had the form of his Hellion state, not his original human form, you know. So this is very cool. We're getting new content as, you know, people who have played the game. This is completely new to us. You know, we're gonna see world building, you know, before even the game begins. It's just amazing. Like, I'm really having fun with this first episode of Tales of Zestiria, and I cannot wait to see what's gonna go later down the line, especially for you guys who haven't played the game, because you're gonna learn more about the Hellions, the Seraphim. I mean, there is that one scene that we ended up getting where Alicia was on her horse trying to get out of the storm, and there was that little girl that ended up appearing. And she says that I wanted to bring, like, chaos. As you saw, Alicia went directly past her. Like, what? Actually, not past her. Technically, right through her, you know, and it didn't phase her whatsoever. She didn't even know that she was there. And there's a reason for that. She is a Seraphim. But I'm not going to say anything more than that. You're going to find out more on what the Seraphim, the Hellions are, and everything about that it's contained within the game. But yeah, like, for this first episode, 10 out of 10. With this first episode of Tales of Zestiria, obviously it was an amazing episode, and I cannot wish for a better studio to actually animate this incredible story and series. Like, it's just that good. And even the soundtrack. We gotta talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing as well. The musical score is the soundtrack that was in the games. Some of the songs have been remixed. They sound obviously awesome. And then in the opening, we see the opening at the end of this episode. The opening is done by Flow. Oh man, it's done by Flow, one of my favorite bands. Like, oh man, that opening though, that got me hyped to see what's gonna go down in the next episode. Like, that is something that I'm not gonna skip. Like, that was a really incredible opening. When Flow usually does openings, or any song for that matter, you know, you can't skip it. You just can't. So, yeah. And also, what we saw in the opening was apparently Velvet from Tales of Berseria. This is very interesting to me, because I saw her in the opening, and I was like, holy shit, she is in the opening, Velvet. You know, and Tales of Berseria hasn't even released yet. Tales of Berseria is actually a new game that is going to be coming out in either September or August, I believe, in Japan. For North America, I think it's coming out in like January, February, something like that. But anyway, when it comes to Velvet, I was very surprised that she was in the opening, because, as I said before, you know, the game is not even out yet. Maybe she could only be in the opening just for promotional, you know, purposes, but I don't really know if she will actually be in the storyline, because then they would technically have to cross over Tales of Berseria and Tales of Zestiria together, and somewhat, you know, change the story to actually, you know, makes sense on why she's there in the first place. Because from my knowledge of Tales of Berseria exists within the same universe as Tales of Zestiria, but it serves as a prequel to Tales of Zestiria. So I'm very curious on how they're going to make this work. I'm just super hyped up right now. Like, I really cannot wait to see what's going to go down in the next few episodes of Tales of Zestiria, and see how Ufotable actually animated this series. Because, like, from this first episode, getting new content, seeing the perspective of Alicia before the events of what actually go down in the game, you know, it seems like she is actually going to be more of a main character in this anime compared to the game. Like, that is just amazing, because we only see, like, a glimpse of Alicia's character within the game. Like, it's almost like she's not even there, so to speak. And we can already see, like, corruption building up in the village, or the town, excuse me. There's the trial of the sword that still needs to be going about with the shepherd. Like, I'm getting hyped up right now. So I'm gonna cut it off right here. Definitely check out this episode of Tales of Berseria, or Zestiria, the X, if you haven't already. Let me know your overall thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like. It always helps out the channel. And if you want to stick up to date to my future content on this channel, please hit that red subscribe button below, and you will never miss a video from me. That about does it for this video, guys. Love you all, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.